want to miss a moment. Let me be really clear. When we come here every week, it is about awakening. We are here to awaken our consciousness and be the most perfect expression of God that we can be. That's what we've been given. We are spiritual beings in a body, and we are here to express glory and wonder and awesomeness. I want to read one little sentence from this book of Love and Creation, Paul Selig. You have been gifted with free will, and it is your choice to operate from it. So as source, another word for God, so as source, embodying in a physical body, you have to begin to realize that what you are capable of trumps any outside power that you could ever possibly contend with. That was the quote that inspired me this morning. Now, this week, I had two experiences when I noticed that I was operating not from that Christ presence. I was operating from fight or flight. And let me tell you the first one. It was last week. Last week I was at Unity Village. The week before, on a Thursday or Friday, I was in the office, and I heard the doorbell ring. And not very often does anybody ring the doorbell at the back door. Somebody rang the doorbell. I went out, and a woman and a man came in, and they said, we're here for the memorial service. And immediately I went into, oh my God, I forgot. I set up a whole memorial, which was ridiculous. But that is where I went for about 30 seconds. I went into fear. And I know they felt, I think they kind of felt my energy, because then the man was confused, and the sister who was with him, they were actually showing up for memorial service at the Unitarian Universalist Church. And we got them there. But the thing that I knew right away is and I knew just to calm down, but I felt like I spent maybe a minute or more in going to the place of, oh, I got it. Is there a memorial? I just panicked. And, that wasn't helpful. Eventually I calmed down. We sat and we called. We figured it all out. But that is something I would rather not have done. I would have loved to have, in that case, I would rather have been operating out of calmness and surety and said, oh, let me help you. I'm pretty sure it's not here. And it was funny. At one point, the sister was saying to the brother who they were going for a memorial service, well, is that the minister? He said, no, that's not the minister. I said, well, no, actually, I am the minister here. I may not be the minister that you spoke with, but we'll figure it out. So that was one case. The second case was what I'm going to call the regional board election snafu. You know what snafu is? Soul's next activation for upgrade. A snafu is a chance for your soul to get really activated and upgrade. Okay? We have a lot of those in life. Now, what I'm going to do is show a movie. When I was at this glorious conference, the HeartMath, I actually did forget his name, but Martin came and gave a presentation. I'm going to show you half of 3 minutes of a movie, then we're going to talk some more, and then we'll show the rest of the movie later. And I'm going to turn off the lights up here, and we're going to show the movie. Good.
Most people know what it feels like to be in a state of harmony and flow, where our hearts and minds are working together, and there's a genuine connection with others involved. It's easy to love this experience of synergy, but oftentimes this happens by chance, rather than by design or intention. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to produce this flow on demand in our day-to-day communications, projects, and challenges? Research shows that when we shift into a coherent state, the heart and brain operate synergistically, like two systems that mesh into one. We can learn how to activate and sustain the synergy between the heart and brain and prevent stress-producing patterns, along with increasing our mental clarity and discernment capacity. When we do this, our creative solutions for personal, social, and global challenges become more accessible, providing us with more intuitive access and flow. Over the past 20 years, the Institute of Heart Math has produced coherence-building techniques that are intentionally simple and based on scientific research. Our mission theme is to simplify a process for intuitive connection to the soul's wisdom and guidance for unfolding who we truly are. New research suggests that our energetic or spiritual heart is an access point for our natural inner technology, the heart's intuitive intelligence, which can elevate our communications, decisions, and choices to a much higher level of effectiveness. One interesting finding from our research is that when people hold genuine core heart feelings such as appreciation or compassion, it naturally increases their heart coherence. We use the term energetics to refer to the systems that we can't see or touch. For example, our thoughts, emotions, and intuitions. The mind and heart feelings are energetic sources that underlie our thoughts and emotions. They're primary drivers of our biological systems and have a powerful influence on our behaviors, choices, and results. The intuitive, energetic heart is what people have associated with their inner voice throughout history. From our perspective, the energetic heart communicates a steady stream of intuitive information to the mind and brain, which in most cases we only use a small percentage of, because our ego choices overrides the intuitive suggestion. Access to our heart's intuition varies among people, yet we all have it. As we learn to slow down our mind and attune to our deeper heart feelings, our natural intuitive connection can occur. Intuition is like energetic gold. Intuitive insights often unfold more understanding of ourselves, others, issues, and life than years of accumulated knowledge. That's why the state of coherence is rapidly gaining interest. In this state, more and more people are reporting increased access to their heart's intuitive guidance, realizing it's within them, and with a little practice, it's easier to access than they thought.
So I like that last picture a lot, the picture of the energy coming out. That's partly why I wanted to show you this, because we're always putting out our energy into the field, right? What are we putting out into the field? That's a good question for spiritual people on the path to ask. One of the techniques I want to share with you is called quick coherence. I've shared it before. Probably haven't done it for a couple years, but it's something that I was really grateful to remember again, because it's quick and it works. And make no mistake, this is our job. It really is our job to be as peaceful and as loving, to, instead of fear, choose love, instead of anger, choose kindness. It is our job on our spiritual path. And this really helps. So here's the quick coherence. It will help you find a feeling of ease and inner harmony, and it's reflected in your heart rhythms. There's some science about it, and the interesting thing that Martin was saying about heart math is basically they've been around for 20 or 30 years, and really what they have been doing is just been doing scientific testing for the things that we are actually, and religious teachers have been talking about for years and centuries, about meditation and holding yourself in kindness. But they have some really nice, interesting science backup. And in weeks down the line, I'll show you some of the charts. And there's even a nice machine you can put on your ear and see what happens when your heart and your brain is connected. And you can watch that. The heart is a primary generator of rhythm in your body, influencing brain processes. I know if you have listened to me before, we now have 3 brains. There's like a brain in our brain, a brain in our heart, and also a brain in our gut that actually contributes to how we function. More coherent heart rhythms facilitate brain function, allowing each of us more access to our higher intelligence, right? it basically gives us our access to being the Christ, to being the best person we can be. It also improves focus, creativity, intuition, and higher level decision making. When you're in heart rhythm coherence, you perform at your best, what athletes call the zone. You feel confident, positive, focused, calm, and energized. So we're going to do it right now. It's just so easy and wonderful. So just sit comfortably in your chair. You can look or you can keep your eyes open, whichever it feels more centering for you. And you just start by breathing. I like to touch the center of my chest, but you just breathe a little bit deeper. Ready? Just breathe a little bit deeper. And now what you're doing is your heart-centered breathing, meaning go ahead and visualize your breath as coming in and out of here. Think of one of those pictures of the heart glowing. So you're just breathing through your heart. Just a little bit deeper. That's the first part. That is it in its entirety. We're breathing, heart breathing, in and out through our heart. And activate a positive or renewing feeling. I think of my family. Think of a beloved pet. Think of something that you love or someone that you love. So breathe for about 60 seconds. Consciously bring to your mind somebody that activates a positive feeling, a renewing feeling. Now we're going to show the rest of the movie, and you can go ahead and keep practicing while the movie's on.
Research conducted in our laboratories has confirmed that when an individual is in heart coherence, the heart radiates a more coherent electromagnetic energy field that can benefit people, animals, and the environment. A growing body of scientific evidence suggests that when there is coherent group cooperation, it results in increased flow, effectiveness, and the potential for higher outcomes. It seems as though the group participants are not only in sync, but are communicating on an unseen, energetic level. Our personal coherence can benefit our families, co-workers, friends, pets, and more, simply by our presence. From our research, we know that heart coherence is not an idle state. It reaches out, it influences and supports others in many beneficial ways. Scientific evidence provides support for a global field environment that connects all living systems and consciousness. Many scientists believe that a feedback loop exists between all humans and the Earth's energetic systems. We are working together with other initiatives to realize the increased effectiveness of collective intention and cooperation. There are growing numbers of organizations with tools and techniques that facilitate increased heart connection and collaboration with others. This evolves into a collective opening of the heart, which is a major step towards increasing social and global coherence. We call this heart-based living. IHM, through its Global Coherence Initiative project, is strategically placing 14 sensors around the world to measure the Earth's magnetic resonance. This global network will enable our scientific inquiry into the interconnections between the Earth's magnetic field and collective human emotions and behaviors. Science has shown that the Earth's magnetic field affects humans in profound ways, but our intention is to study how humans, as a collective, affect the Earth's magnetic field environment. Every individual's energy contributes to the global field environment, and each person's thoughts, emotions, and intentions affects the field. A first step in increasing the coherence of the field environment is for each individual to take responsibility for their own energy. We can do this by becoming more conscious of the thoughts, feelings, and attitudes that we are feeding the field each day. Our hypothesis is that as enough individuals increase their heart coherence, it leads to increased social coherence. As a critical mass of cultures and nations become more harmoniously aligned, this can eventually lead to increased global coherence and sustainable peace. Doc Childre, the founder of HeartMath, puts it this way: as more of humanity practices heart-based living, it will qualify the rite of passage into the next level of consciousness. Using our heart's intuitive guidance will become common sense based on practical intelligence.
Thanks, guys. And if you are interested in it, you can go to the web, and they have a lot of information. And also, you don't need to. I've got a lot of the information, and it'll hopefully seep out through me in the talks in the upcoming months. And it's not new news to us, is it? And if you're into the science, you're going to want to look it up. And if you just already knew that, and you'll be fine with it. I want to say two more. I have a couple more stories, I guess. To me, when I look at this, I really like it, and I want to be that. And I know because I've been around when everybody in the room, his heart is flowing together, right? When we're all in sync. There's some nice, beautiful, in the training, there were some great examples of like kids and dogs, people and their horses, people in groups, families. I guess I love that movie so much because of the visual. I like the family, the mom and the dad and the little girl, their hearts are connected, and just kind of flows off into the little girl's heart. And they had some interesting experiments about people sitting at a table where 3 people had the training and 1 person didn't. But they were all had little something on their ear to measure their heart coherence. And then 42% of the people who didn't train, just by sitting with 3 people who knew about it, they started to have their heart in coherence, which would be calmness and that feeling without even being trained in it. So that's the pitch for you. Spread. How are you showing up in the field? 2 weeks ago, Roland was gone for a week. He went to visit some of our kids in Michigan, and I didn't go that week. And I really missed him, and so I asked him to go with me to our training this week because he wasn't originally going to go. And I was joking. I said, he's my service animal. Because I felt like I wanted him around. And when I got there, I realized it's because we really have been supporting each other with heart coherence, that I was able to be calm in the face of things that happened because he was around. And the week when I panicked, he was gone. We have different times in our lives where where we need extra support, and for some reason I needed my my service animal this time, and I think that's okay. I think that's part of why we're here, is to be service animals for each other. Now, there's one more technique that I really wished I'd had. You will recognize the beginning of it. It's called freeze frame. And and in the middle of it is the heart-focused breathing and the activation. But this is if something arises that there's a problem or a situation. And I'm going to explain why I wanted this when I tell you about the snafu, the regional board election snafu. The regional board has elections, and we had 2 people who were running for re-election, the president and a member at large, and 2 more people who were running. And we had the election, and as it turned out, the president was re-elected, and 1 new person was elected, and 1 person who ran for re-election wasn't elected. I'm going to call her Elizabeth. So Elizabeth wasn't elected, the president was elected. And then in the middle of announcing it, all of a sudden you see some conferring going on. The president and the vice president were talking, and stuff was clearly happening. And then they came out and said, well, we made a mistake. The person who reads the bylaws says that Becky, the president, isn't actually eligible for re-election, that she started out, she took somebody's place, and she finished off their term, and it was more than a year, so she can't actually be eligible. And all I know is I was not in quick coherence. I felt unhappy and alarmed, and I felt like something was wrong, but I didn't know what. Mind you, this was the first day. It was before we had the heart math training. So then they said, well, we're just going to do the election again and take Becky out of the election. So they did the election, and then the two new people ended up being on the board, and that meant Becky was gone and the other person, Elizabeth, was gone. And I just felt sad and not happy, and I didn't know what to do about it. I didn't want to interrupt or say anything, but let me tell you what would have worked better for me is if we had all stopped in the moment and done a little of the technique I'm going to tell you. We've done some heart-connected breathing and said, do we really need to do this now? Maybe we could do this. We're here all week. Let's see what happened. Let's see if we can come up with the highest thought for all concerned. And maybe the same thing would have happened. I'm not saying what happened was wrong or terrible, but I know I would have felt better about it had we done it in a different way. And I realized that the next day when I found this technique, and I was thinking, wow, that would have really been a good time for us to apply that. So the freeze frame technique, I give this to you. And by the way, I will post this on the website. If you want it in written form, you can email me. I'll send you my notes. You can also go on the website, the HeartMath website. Acknowledge the problem or issue. So for that, I would have said, wow, this seems like a quick change, and I don't feel ready to handle this election. Heart-focused breathing. We already know how to do the heart-focused breathing, right? And then activate. You make a sincere attempt to experience a regenerative feeling. You want to bring that person who you love or that feeling that you love, and then you anchor it, okay? Bring up the feeling, and you make a conscious decision to anchor it. And then ask. Ask from this more objective place. Ask yourself what would be a more efficient or effective attitude, action, or solution. So this can happen in like 3 minutes. That's the beauty of it. It could have happened in 3 minutes. What should we do? Maybe I would have thought something like, let's postpone this, talk about it at the board, and come back in an hour, or come back tomorrow and do the election, instead of doing it, we're not on a track. We're not actually on a track. Quietly observe any subtle changes in perceptions, attitudes, or feelings. Commit to sustaining beneficial attitude shifts and acting on new insights. So I think that the main thing I want us to remember is that at any time, and it can take 2-3 minutes, when alarm comes up, when you panic and you think there was a whole memorial service that you forgot about, whatever it is that's going to bring you anxiety, you can focus on your breathing. Imagine it going in and out of your heart, and bring to mind the person, the place, the pet, the heart connection for you that you love. Let's take an offering for unity. And as you get out